Welcome to Crown TV. Immerse yourself with a captivating audio from our stories. We provide an alternative way to read books in audio. We upload many audiobooks as possible, from bestsellers to timeless classic. Subscribe and stay tuned for new upload.
Episode 156. Thank you, poor man. If you'd told me I'd be helping you cheat, I wouldn't have promised to help, Alex said coldly as he stared at Minnie. You didn't have to promise me. Who made you promise in the first place? Minnie was even angrier at his retort. She shook off Hannah, who was holding her back, and rushed up to him. She touched his chest and said, If you promise to lend me a hand, you'll help me a lot. Do you know that I have 360,000 fans on my live stream? If they find out I'm trying to trick them, do you know what the consequences will be like for me? My fans will run away. It'll be a huge loss. I'll lose at least hundreds of thousands of dollars. Will you compensate me for that loss? She said. She was almost foaming at the mouth. Hannah couldn't restrain her. I gave you my money. You don't even know how valuable you are to me. Don't look down at my money. Give it back to me. Quick, give it back to me. She savagely snatched back the dollar bills that she had just given him. And don't talk to me again, she added. Let's go. Let's not pay attention to this low-class guy. He'll probably be a garbage collector one day, she said as she looked at Alex, spat on the ground, and was pulled into the villa by Hannah. Alex stood there feeling disgusted. He had been kind to her by lending her his villa and buying her food, but look at how she repaid him. She fretted and scratched his head, and then he hit the wall hard with his fist. Oh, Alex, are all the women you meet crazy, or are you creating your problems? He thought. He sat by himself for a while before he went back inside the villa. Naturally, he wouldn't be petty and kick the girls out, as he had already promised to let them stay with him. He went to take a bath, and then he went to his room. Meanwhile, Minnie and Hannah were watching the live stream. The impact was as good as Hannah had expected. It even exceeded their expectations. The number of Minnie's fans had been growing rapidly over the last hour. She had already gained 20,000 new fans, and each minute she was getting dozens more. The number of private messages was also increasing, with fans asking the poor man's situation and expressing their gratitude toward her for the help she was giving him. More than 400 people had asked to be added to her WhatsApp list, and she had received more than 100 phone calls within the past hour. She, of course, only selected a few people. A couple of girls even cried and offered to give her money. Only a few hardcore fans had previously known her WhatsApp and cell phone number, but with so many people contacting her now, it showed that her live stream was successfully reaching a wider audience. Minnie was overjoyed when she saw that it was almost time to start again. She turned on the live stream, and as soon as it started streaming, 80,000 fans flooded in. Oh my, 80,000 people are watching the broadcast. The streamer Minnie is rising so fast. It's only been an hour and she's added 20,000 fans. I'm a newcomer. My heart breaks when I see that poor man. How is that poor man? Yes, where is he? Many of her live stream fans jumped in to ask about the homeless man's situation. Fans, I've just bathed the poor man. I've bought him 2 sets of clean clothes, too. I've also rented a room for him. He should be sleeping now. Don't worry, he's safe now, Minnie said. Her followers sighed with relief. My name is Minnie. I'm the streamer. It's a beautiful job. Thank you so much. Good people will get good rewards. It's peace of mind. You deserve to have fans. I'll give you a reward. The netizens supported Minnie and could give her gifts of money. 3 of her followers, who went by the screen names Moneygun, Treasure Map, and Goldtooth, were constantly helping Minnie to influence fans to give gifts. They were really moved by her. She was such a loving streamer who spent money to help poor people. The fans felt like they were helping the poor by giving her gifts. Thank you, everyone. Okay, please don't send any more gifts. I just tried my best. It's nothing. Okay, my lovely fans, please don't give more gifts. Stop. Oh, why don't you listen to me today? If you don't stop sending me gifts, I'll end my broadcast. Minnie was ordering her fans not to give her any more gifts. Of course, she wasn't being sincere, as she wanted her followers to spend money on her. She had been working as a live stream broadcaster for a long time, so she understood the psychology of the internet crowd. She knew that if she told them not to give her gifts, they would send her even more. Her live stream ended at midnight sharp. As soon as she turned off the camera, she jumped 3 feet high in the air with joy. She roughly estimated that if her fans had sent at least $20,000 that evening, she would be getting over $10,000 that day. It would be the second highest amount she had made in one day since she had started streaming. The most money she had ever made was at the beginning of her live streaming career, thanks to donations from Darren and someone else with the screen name Esteemed Admirer, who she assumed was Brad Summers. She couldn't help but think that if Brad had watched her live stream on this occasion, she would have topped $50,000. But Brad had never watched her live stream again. Sometimes she looked at his picture in a daze. Her biggest success this time wasn't the gifts, but the 30 to 40,000 new fans who would create a sustainable source for her. Minnie, we should really thank the garbage collector tonight. If he hadn't pretended to be a poor man, we wouldn't have made this kind of impact, Anna said with a smile. He had given Minnie such a good idea for the live stream. I should thank him? Minnie sneered. I feel like vomiting whenever I see him. It would be nice if I didn't feel like spitting on him. You're right. He was acting like he was more than a mere garbage collector, and then he dared look at us with arrogance. I really wanted to slap him for you, Hannah said as she tried to flatter her friend. Okay, Hannah, let's go to bed. Tomorrow we'll go to Miami for the internet celebrity party. We shouldn't stay up too late, Minnie said. Minnie's phone rang, and she saw the name, Content Director for Tryst, on her phone's screen. She answered right away. Hello, Director. Minnie, congratulations. Just after your live stream ended, the streaming platform detected that the number of fans in your account increased dramatically, and the number of rewards was more than 10 times your usual number. I've reported this to the big boss, who watched your stream's playback and thought it was very innovative. It could even lead to a new trend over the next few months. The big boss decided to upgrade your account level and adjust the share ratio from 55 to 70% for you and 30% for the platform, said the director. Thank you. Thank you. I will continue to work hard, she said with excitement. The popularity of your new live content on the platform is very good. Although the total amount can't compare with other streamers, you have the highest growth rate. The big boss also wants to promote your brand new live stream, so that tomorrow's streaming party will be more explosive. When you come tomorrow, he wants you to bring this pitiful man. Can you bring him? Asked the director. I should bring him with me tomorrow? She was a bit tongue-tied. Will it be difficult? Or did you pay that poor man to be on your show? Just tell me the truth. Actually, it doesn't matter. Just tell me what he's like. It'll be good for all of us. The director had been in the industry a long time, so he knew the routines and thoughts of the streamers. Yes, I did it. She had to admit it. Well, the director thought for a moment. You had a good idea. The streams are supposed to get the followers to give more gifts. As long as it makes a good impact, it's okay to do so. You can give him some money and ask him to come with you for another performance tomorrow. Director, I've nearly broken up with that person. I can ask him to come with me, but he probably won't. I don't think I can bring him, she said. Oh, well, the boss might not be happy about that. He might take back the new conditions or make changes. I can't predict what could happen, the director said. Okay, I'll find a way to bring him to the party. She understood that if the big boss got angry, her live stream career would be covered with the shadow. She had developed such good momentum, and she didn't want to ruin her career. I have to find a way to get Alex to come, she thought. Well, I'll look forward to Miss Minnie's performance at the party tomorrow. I won't keep you any longer. He hung up the phone. The director had asked her to bring Alex to the party, but how could she convince him to go with her with the current state of their relationship? Minnie, what are you going to do? You yelled at Alex so much tonight. There's no way he's going to go with you now. Hannah was also worried about her. Minnie sat on the bed and thought about it. She whispered, I can't ask him. I wasn't nice to him, but I feel sick when I think that I need this lousy loser. She punched her pillow, and then a trace of hope appeared in the corner of her eyes. She was a little stunned, as she had thought of something. Episode 157, Minnie Convinces Alex. Alex woke up in a daze when he heard someone knocking at his door. He stood up and walked over barefoot to open it. He saw Minnie and Hannah standing there, so he wanted to close it in their face. Wait a minute. Minnie jammed her foot into the opening. What do you want? Alex looked at her in dismay. Why are you so rude? You should be a little nicer and let us in first, Minnie said as she walked in with Hannah, whether he liked it or not. He looked at her and felt helpless. First, she scolded him for being so rude, and then she told him to be nicer. How can she say that to me? He thought. He felt very strange again. Why did Minnie change so much? And why is she in my room in the middle of the night? He wondered. She looked at him and sighed. It's my fault. I shouldn't have said those things to you. I'm here to apologize and to ask you to forgive me. To get him to go with her to the tryst party, she had to first lighten the mood between them and smooth things over. She thought she could do this by apologizing to him, although it was very uncomfortable for her. He didn't say anything. He just looked at her quietly. Is she like a 3-year-old? She scolded me so badly, now she's apologizing? And I'm supposed to just accept this? He thought. Oh, Alex, I'm apologizing to you and you still look at me like this? I beg you. Will you forgive me? She said as she held his hand, shaking it gently and giving him an earnest look. But that wasn't what she was thinking. Smelly loser, I'm not apologizing to you because I like you. It's only because Trist's boss asked me to bring you to the party, she thought. Alex, please forgive her. Sometimes she's just too impulsive. She felt bad and thought about it for a long time before she came over here to apologize to you, Hannah pleaded. He looked at Minnie. She showed traces of sincerity. Okay, I forgive you. It's late. You should go back, he said casually. He didn't care if Minnie was sincere or not. He just wanted to send her away quickly. Minnie and Hannah looked at each other and then at Alex. Alex, since you've forgiven me, let's be friends. Minnie looked at him, but there was no apology in her eyes. Let me tell you the truth. My live stream was very successful and the boss liked it. I'm going to Miami for the tryst party tomorrow night. I hope you can join me and help, okay? As he had expected, she had a different motive for her apology. Alex sneered. Minnie, if it wasn't because you needed my help, you would have never apologized to me, he thought. He went to the door, opened it, and said, It's time for you to go. Alex, I've apologized to you. What else do you want? You know this is a good opportunity for me to become famous. Maybe tomorrow night will be the most important night in my live streaming career. If you come with me, I could be a famous streamer and get the support of the platform. I have to grab this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Do you understand? Minnie said while feeling a little anxious when she saw him ask her to leave. She hoped that he could understand how important the party was to her. Not only that, Hannah also walked toward him and put her arm around Minnie. The director of Tryst called and said that if Minnie doesn't show up with you tomorrow night, she might be blocked from the platform. Even if her results are okay, they won't let her progress. So please think about it carefully. After all, it would be very easy for you to help her. His heart moved when he heard that his presence would have such a profound impact on Minnie's career. I won't go with you, he finally said cruelly. If it was for something else, he would have agreed to help her. But her live stream content was deceptive. He wouldn't be able to live with helping her cheat her fans. Why? Minnie looked at him viciously. This is for my career. It's not for fun. If you don't go, I'll be finished. You're so cruel and vicious. You want to ruin my future, don't you? She grabbed him by his pajamas and said, You're so bad. Minnie, don't grab him. Hannah pulled her away from him, with arms waving and legs kicking. Alex, she's put a lot of energy into her live stream. I don't think you want to ruin her future. You can see that she'll go nuts, said Hannah as she hugged her. I can help you with other things, but I can't help you fake this live stream. I'm sorry, he said to Minnie. He thought that he would use his family's power to help put her career in order. Don't worry. Trist's boss won't interfere with Minnie's live stream. I guarantee that your live streaming career will continue. Oh, are you kidding me? You're just a little garbage collector. Who do you think you are? Alex, are you so stupid to think you can solve this problem? It's no wonder you're picking up trash now. You deserve to be poor. Minnie felt that he was being ridiculous. You say that you don't want to help me because I cheat people. Ha! You're such a heartless and ungrateful man. Who do you think you are to talk to me about morals? Hannah, let me go. Hannah slowly let go of her. She sneered at Alex and walked up to him. He looked at her but didn't say a word. Do you remember Kathy? When Minnie mentioned her name, he was stunned. Ah. Minnie laughed with contempt when she saw his reaction. The sneer on her face got even stronger. It looks like you still remember her. I thought you'd forgotten about her. Did you know that Kathy dropped out of school? Minnie asked softly. Do you know that on the day she left, she packed up her bedding and clothes in the dorm alone, and that she walked out of the school with her suitcase all by herself? Do you know where she is now? Do you know how lonely and desolate she must have felt? How sad she must have been? And how many tears she must have cried the night before she left? Minnie asked. Her questions were like arrows shooting at his heart. Since the last time he had seen Kathy at the Autumn Beauty Boutique, he had not heard any news about her. He had not attended classes recently, so he didn't know that Kathy had dropped out of school. Kathy's family wasn't well off, so how could she afford to drop out of school? Did she give up? He thought, and worried about her. You don't know. You don't know anything. Minnie stared into his eyes as she tried to judge him. I think the culprit who drove Kathy to the point of dropping out was you. You don't want to put this on my head, do you? He complained. You coward, what's wrong with you? She said more loudly. Alex was shocked. He did feel some responsibility for Kathy's departure. Do you remember what you did to Kathy? Minnie sneered. If it hadn't been for you, Kathy wouldn't have gotten to that point. Do you want to say that Kathy dumped you and that she did a lot of unfaithful things to you? That she looked for another man behind your back? That she disliked the poor and loved the rich? She also sarcastically criticized you on all kinds of occasions. She's suffering now. Alex stared at Minnie. Yes, it's all true, but does it make you relieved to hear it? Minnie fiercely gouged out Alex. You could only see her bad qualities, but you couldn't see a little bit of her good side. Is it because she wasn't good to you? Are you such a great man? Do you know that Kathy has never left you out of her heart in all this time? She put forward a message that made him dumbfounded and puzzled. What are you talking about? You don't know, he said. Kathy's family's not so great, so you know that she wants to change her destiny. You understand that, right? So she did cheat on you with Billy behind your back. When you found out, I told her that if she wanted to make you feel better, it would be better to be cruel to you. Otherwise, you would blame yourself, which would be more painful. So, she behaved badly in front of you to drive you away and make you feel better. After that, Kathy and Simon got together, Minnie continued. A girl from a poor family who tried hard to find a better boyfriend under the pressures of her family and society. She didn't rob anyone or break the law. Don't tell me that she was wrong, she said to him in a loud voice. Episode 158, Party on Board. Alex was speechless, but he was also deeply moved. In the past 2 or 3 months, since Kathy left you, you only saw her arrogant and domineering side. Did you know that she'd call out your name when she slept? She hid it very well from others, but I know her best. She didn't really forget you after breaking up with you, Minnie said. She continued. She told me that the day she broke up with Simon, she realized that the person who she really loved was you. She told me that she wanted to get back together with you. She wanted to spend the rest of her life making up for all the harm she'd done to you in the past few months. I was there when she called you 6 times, but you wouldn't answer. She cried on my shoulder and whispered that you don't want her. Minnie closed her eyes for a moment as she took a deep breath. Later, she told me that to save your love, she'd do something desperate. And then she ran out. I think she went to see you. What did you say to her that made her feel so lost when she came back? The next day she dropped out of school and left. Alex remembered that time when she was in the boutique. He could not help but feel a trace of heartache. You remember, don't you? Don't you know how shameless you were to her? Minnie's eyes became sharper and sharper. And now you have the nerve to talk to me about morals? After all the things you've done? Do you really deserve it? I don't deserve it, but I don't need you to blame me for it either. I'm tired, so please go. He was really tired. He didn't want to see her flaunt this in front of him anymore. If he was wrong, he would use his methods to make up for it. But he needed to think carefully about it first. He pushed her out the door. "Oh, why are you pushing me?" she exclaimed. "Do you want to know what Kathy asked me to tell you when she left?" He stopped. He didn't think it was very important to him, but he wanted to know Kathy's state of mind at that time. It would be a pity not to know and be disrespectful toward Kathy. "What did she say?" he asked as he stared at her. "She left you a letter. Everything she wanted to say to you is in it. Let me give it to you." Her eyes narrowed as she paused. "Give me the letter," he said. "I'll give it to you, as long as you come with me to the party," she said. "Don't force me to go with you." His eyes tightened, which made her shiver. She tried to calm herself. If you don't go to the party with me, I won't give it to you." She had to blackmail him, otherwise he would never go with her. "You." He grabbed her by the collar and his eyes narrowed dangerously. She felt how strong he was, but she couldn't be timid, or her live broadcast would be doomed. "What about me? I'll tell you after tomorrow. If you get me blocked on Trist, I'll find a place to burn the letter secretly, and then you'll never know," she threatened. He breathed heavily and closed his eyes tightly. "Okay, I'll go with you." He finally agreed to go with her as he slowly released her collar. "Okay, you agreed." She was overjoyed and relieved that she wouldn't be blocked from the streaming platform. "Where's the letter?" he asked coldly. "I'll give you the letter after tomorrow. Anyway, I haven't got it with me." She regained her disdain for him. "Well, it's late, and we should go to bed. We'll get up early tomorrow and fly to Miami," she said to him, and left his room with Hannah. He slowly walked back to the bed. Lying on his side, he couldn't help but think of Kathy's face. He eventually pulled up the quilt and fell asleep. The next day when Alex woke up, it was gloomy outside. It was already 8 o'clock. He called out to the two girls who were still in bed. After an hour of getting ready, they walked out of the villa. After some breakfast at a coffee bar, Minnie took Hannah back to a rental house, and then the three of them got in a taxi and rushed to the airport. After buying tickets, they quickly got on the plane. It was still gloomy outside. Alex and Minnie sat together. The two girls ate their snacks and chatted across the aisle, but they didn't look at him at all. "Do you have the letter?" he asked. "No," she said as she closed some bags. He knew that the letter was in her bag, but she was afraid that he would take it away and not go with them to Miami. He gave a faint smile and stopped asking her. He had already promised to go with them, so he wouldn't change his mind now. He closed his eyes. He was looking forward to seeing the city where Debbie had once lived for a short time. A while later, they arrived in Miami and went to the harbor where the tryst party was being held for the top 100 online celebrities. The party was on a private luxury cruise ship. The magnificent ship was berthing at the port, so the party guests were not allowed to board it yet. They had to wait for an hour and a half before the party started. Like Minnie, the internet celebrities were getting ready, resting, and getting familiar with the party protocols in a nearby hotel. Alex couldn't stay in the hotel, so he walked along the harbor alone. Standing on a reef by the sea, he called out, "Debbie, where are you? Come back quickly." He had heard others say that when someone called out to the sea for their love would hear it and quickly return. But he only heard his echo, and the distant sounds of seagulls mingled with the waves. The sea breeze made Alex feel a little cold. He pulled his coat tighter and walked back to the hotel. At 6:30 in the evening, Alex followed Minnie and Hannah to the cruise ship. With hundreds of people on board, Minnie, Hannah, and the other internet celebrities were in awe and wonder. The cruise ship had 3 levels. The hull was made of shiny metal, and several lines of colored flags hung off the high mast from bow to stern. The top deck was huge, with a large swimming pool at the stern and several reclining lounge chairs around it. The stage with a reinforced framework was set up at the bow of the ship. Behind the stage, there was a beautiful red net curtain with the word Tryst. Sound equipment and seats lined both sides of the stage floor. The internet celebrities and guests were wandering around the observation platform on the deck, looking at the scenery. Standing along the ship's rail, they could see the endless sea in the distance until it met the horizon. The sounds of the rolling waves were soothing. Looking into the distance, Alex thought that the scenery would be even more beautiful if the sun were out that day. Several of the celebrities gathered to talk and laugh. "This cruise ship belongs to Lee Dempsey. They say that it's worth $500 million, and that he bought it with his father. How many rich people have this kind of courage?" "Well, I heard that Lee broke up with his girlfriend and is single now. Do you think I have a chance?" "I don't see any chance for you. After all, I'm still here." "They say that Lee will also be here tonight. I have to perform well when I go on stage, and maybe Lee will like me." They stopped chatting and walked to their seats when they saw that the party was about to start. Minnie and Hannah had been standing nearby and overheard the conversation. Minnie also had an idea. "Hannah, do you think Lee might like me?" She looked at Hannah and asked with a trace of hope and confidence in her eyes. Seeing her determined look, Hannah laughed with disapproval. "Minnie, don't kid with me. The party's about to start, so let's go." Hannah was about to take her back, but Minnie still stared at her. "You haven't answered my question yet," she said. Hannah was speechless. "Minnie, I'll tell you the truth, but don't be angry with me. I've been dazzled by all the beautiful people you see here tonight. What's outstanding about us? Besides, there are some really beautiful streamers here. Lee will likely pick a beautiful one." After Hannah finished talking, Minnie couldn't help but feel lost. She thought that stepping into a powerful family was just a dream, so she should take her live stream seriously. "Alex, the party's about to start. Come over here," Minnie yelled to Alex, who had been staring out at sea. Episode 159, Who Is He? Alex and Minnie were sitting with the other internet celebrities, waiting for the party to start. They heard a rustling sound, and several people turned to look. Minnie also looked behind her and saw several people walking on the deck with a young man. This young man was Lee Dempsey. He seemed thinner than when he was selected for the Sky's the Limit talent show. He wasn't accompanied by Angelina Sanders. Last time, under pressure from Justin Ambrose, Angelina disclosed that she was pregnant with Guy Avery's child. She had cheated on Lee in front of everyone. Guy's family was much better off than Lee's family, so Lee had broken up with Angela. After that day, Lee became a joke. Of course, no one dared to mention such a thing in front of him. Lee had provided the cruise ship for the party, and he was with the organizer, who was naturally there to serve him well. A lot of the internet celebrities looked at Lee and hoped that he would notice them. Unfortunately, Lee lacked interest, and he didn't even look at the most beautiful ones. He just took a seat next to the organizer. Minnie, you see, Lee doesn't seem to be very interested in the women. We don't have a chance, Anna whispered to her as she nodded, feeling a trace of loss. At 8 in the evening, the party's live stream officially began. The two hosts worked together to organize the party in an orderly manner. The appearance of each famous internet celebrity brought warm applause from the whole audience, and the live stream's response was particularly good. Minnie had been preparing to go on stage. She had told Alex that he must speak well and not make any mistakes when they went up. The next person on the stage is a new online star, Miss Minnie. Her live stream last night reached a huge audience. If you watched her live stream, you must be deeply impressed by her. Let's invite her up onto the stage, the host exclaimed. Minnie and Alex walked up. Miss Minnie, can you share with us why you chose this live content? Well, yesterday I went to my relative's house and unexpectedly heard about him, Minnie replied as she pointed at Alex. After listening to his story, I was so moved. I had only one idea, and that was to help him as much as I could. That's so touching. It's no wonder your live stream attracted so many fans last night. Let's ask the poor man you're helping some questions, said the host. Did you sleep well last night? Miss Minnie has helped you so much. What kind of feelings do you have for her now? After the host finished, he handed the microphone over to Alex. But Alex thought that the previous night's live stream deceived the viewers, so he had nothing to say. It's okay. You don't need to be afraid. It's just a simple live stream, Minnie said as she comforted Alex in front of the audience, but she pinched him out of their view. She's very good, and she helped me a lot. I'm very grateful to her. Alex had to say something nice so he could get Kathy's letter from her. That's great. Let's take a look at the big screen to see what the fans are saying. With that, the host looked over at the big screen that showed a flood of people. Let's thank Minnie for her words. There were as many netizens as streamers, and they all gave positive comments about Minnie's stream and Tryst. Is she famous? Lee, who was sitting under the stage, asked the organizer. No, she's just a small streamer on our platform. It's just that yesterday's live broadcast about that kid with her on the stage was so hot that the response was very strong, the organizer said with a respectful smile. She's quite nice, he sighed. Oh, actually, the poor man's not poor at all. She found this guy, and last night she cooked for him, let him use her shower, and bought him new clothes. But she directed it and acted it by herself. The organizer told the truth about what he knew. Oh, so who is that man with her? Lee became more interested. She may have hired him, or maybe it's her boyfriend. It doesn't seem like this guy has any dignity if this is what he does to earn money. He'd rather be a beggar in a live stream than go out and find a job. But then again, we can't make money with our platform if he doesn't pretend to be poor. This organizer wasn't the one who had talked to Minnie on the phone the previous night, so he didn't know the story very well. I don't think he's in love with that girl, so he knows he's helping her do the wrong thing. Lee looked at Alex and Minnie on the stage. Wait for them to step down and then get them to come over here for a while, Lee told the organizer. The organizer didn't dare to disappoint him. After Minnie and Alex stepped down, they were told by the organizer that Lee wanted to see them. Minnie was ecstatic and thought that Lee had liked her performance on the stage. But she was also confused. There were so many more beautiful women online, so Lee hadn't noticed her before. But now that he saw her, had he fallen for her? But why did he want to see Alex, too? With expectations and doubts, Minnie walked over to Lee. Lee? I heard you were looking for me? She called out shyly, thinking only that the more tender and beautiful she was, the more he would like her. Lee asked Alex as soon as he walked up, Who is she to you? Lee didn't look at her at all. He continued to play with his phone as he glanced at Minnie and spoke with Alex. Huh? She was stunned. She looked at Alex doubtfully and said to Lee, He's a poor man that I helped in the live stream yesterday. He sleeps outside and doesn't have enough to eat. Lee's face was blank. That's an unlikely story. You're lying to Lee. Tell him the truth. The organizer, who had been sitting on the sidelines, barked and winked at Minnie, which suggested that he had already told Lee the truth. Lee, I was wrong. I shouldn't have lied to you, Minnie said as she quickly apologized to him. I paid him. I gave him $100 and asked him to help me live. $100? I don't think this guy is someone who's willing to sell his dignity for only $100. Lee looked at Alex, but he didn't show him any flattery because he came from a wealthy family. Lee had some interest in Alex and turned his eyes back toward Minnie. If you don't tell me the truth, you can leave. Minnie looked at Lee's sharp eyes with surprise. She had a feeling that his idea of leaving wasn't as simple as going back to her seat. Oh, tell us, is he your boyfriend? The organizer was also worried. Minnie was a popular streamer. If Lee blocked her for not telling the truth, it would be a loss to the platform. Uh-huh? Minnie was even more confused. How could she be a couple with Alex, the loser? She wanted to deny it, but she could see that the organizer was sending her signals like crazy by winking at her, which suggested Lee already had some ideas. Minnie was conflicted, as she didn't know whether she should agree with him or not. He's my boyfriend, Minnie finally replied after making a difficult choice. After seeing Lee's face soften a little, she breathed a sigh of relief. What's your name? What do you do? Lee asked Alex. My name is Alex Ambrose, and I'm a student at Preston University, he said frankly, as he also saw that Minnie had told him that he was her boyfriend. He felt helpless. Although Alex had read Debbie's diary, Lee's name had not been mentioned. But Alex didn't know that the rich man sitting in front of him was one of the people who had hurt Debbie that day. Ambrose, Lee muttered. He remembered the day when he had been slapped by Justin publicly. Of course, Lee didn't connect Alex, who was badly dressed, with Justin. But Lee was dissatisfied with Alex because they both shared the last name of Ambrose. So, to help your girlfriend be an internet star, you gave up your dignity as a man. You're willing to pretend to be a beggar in a live stream. You really are a nobody. Lee looked at Alex with a light smile and said, Don't you know that it's not only men who abandon their wives, but also women who kick out their boyfriends when they have no money? One puts so much effort into helping them, but then your girlfriend becomes someone else's woman. Don't you think it's interesting? Alex breathed heavily, but he didn't take Lee's sarcasm too seriously. Alex and Minnie were not lovers. But Alex was curious about Lee. Why would a rich guy ridicule a student he didn't know? Minnie, let's hear from you. When you have money, will you throw this guy away? Lee looked at her with a light smile. She just smiled back awkwardly, as she didn't know how to answer. That's interesting. It seems that you still have feelings for him. You can go now, but don't let me see you again. Since you two love each other so much, I wish you two a long and good life. Okay, go now, Lee exclaimed. Yes, let's go now. Minnie was shocked and walked with Alex to their seats. Episode 160. Will he get the letter? Minnie, what did Lee say to you? Hannah asked as soon as Minnie and Alex sat down. That was crazy, Alex said casually, remembering that he had nothing to do with Minnie. Lee had called them over to ridicule them. You still help me, so do you want to help me? Minnie said to him. He closed his mouth and didn't look at her. What's the matter? Why do you look so unhappy? Anna looked a little sad herself as she took Minnie's hand and questioned her softly. It didn't look as though it was a good thing that Lee had called them over. I don't know what Lee wants. He asked me if this lousy loser was my boyfriend. She sat on the chair and looked at Hannah. Oh, so you explained to Lee that he's just helping you with your stream and that he's not your boyfriend? Anna replied. I wanted to explain, but the organizer kept winking at me and told me to say he was. So in the end, I told him that this lousy loser was my boyfriend. She punched Alex in the shoulder. Anna, do you think I could date such a useless person? I really can't understand what Lee was thinking. I thought he might like me, but who would have thought that he's connected me with this guy? It really pissed me off. Minnie was deeply hurt. Well, I've helped you. Can you give me Kathy's letter now? Asked Alex as he looked at her. What's the hurry? Are you afraid that I won't give it to you? Minnie stared at him and took a sip of her drink. Alex heaved a heavy sigh. He wanted the party to end so he could get off the cruise ship. Minnie should have no reason not to give him the letter. The 2-hour party soon ended. Some of the guests began to leave the ship, but more people chose to stay on board for the reception. Alex had to stay and wait for the letter. There were more than 1,000 people who stayed on the ship, including the top internet celebrities. It was a good opportunity for them to enjoy the occasion and rub elbows with the rich, so they were unwilling to leave. Some people stayed on deck, holding goblets, talking and laughing with each other. Some beautiful women changed into swimsuits and swam in the swimming pool. Naturally, Lee was the focus of attention, as he was surrounded by more than 10 internet celebrities who wanted to meet him. He walked onto the stage and grabbed the microphone. Are you all having a good time? Yes, answered the crowd. Alex sat in a quiet chair far away from the stage. He looked at his phone and casually checked the weather. It said that day there would be a tropical storm passing through Miami. Alex looked up at the night sky. It was dark and black, as if it would rain heavily soon. Today, I'm happy to take you out to sea, yelled Lee. It had been his happiest night since Angelina had left him. Good. Go out to sea and play. Take us out to sea. The group of celebrities and many young people agreed to Lee's proposal. Alex frowned, stood up and walked up to the stage. A group of people was still following Lee. Well, go and get me the captain, Lee asked a man. We can't go out to sea tonight, a man's voice said as the group was caught up in the excitement. The crowd followed the sound to see that it had been Alex who had spoken up. What did you say? Lee noticed that the man who spoke was Alex, who he had seen earlier. Who are you? Lee's already said that he'll take us out to sea. Who is this guy? Isn't this the poor man from that live stream? When Alex saw that people didn't understand him, he nodded to Lee in apology. Lee, I didn't mean to go against you, but the weather forecast said that there's a tropical storm coming in. It's very dangerous to go out to sea. So, when a tropical storm's coming, you feel that you need to tell me. Do you know that I just bought this cruise ship? Do you think a small tropical storm's gonna hurt me? Lee said, gazing at Alex. I don't mean that, it's just... Alex still wanted to explain. But Lee didn't want to listen to him anymore. "Okay, stop with this nonsense," Lee said. "Lee is right, this is nonsense. It's such a big ship, it's not so fragile. Is he a man or a mouse? I'm not afraid." Alex was speechless. He began to look for Minnie in the crowd so they could get off the ship. The captain arrived to talk with Lee. "Let's set sail now," ordered Lee. "Lee, today's weather report indicates that the conditions are not very suitable. The Weather Bureau issued a warning message." The captain was a middle-aged man in his 40s with a lot of experience at sea. "You talk too much. Don't you trust the quality of this cruise ship? Can it withstand a small tropical storm? You don't have to sail for our family anymore. I want a real captain," he said irritably. "Let me ask you a question. Can you sail it?" "Well, yes, I can sail." The captain thought some more about the level of the storm mentioned by the weather station and that it wasn't high. The ship should be able to withstand it, and the probability of encountering a tropical storm was very small. "Okay, go back and get ready to sail." Lee waved, and the captain left. After hearing the captain, he hesitated. Some people were flustered. They were whispering whether they wanted to leave now. "Scared? Go now, as I won't wait for you," Lee said over the microphone. "I must leave. My family has something else they need me to do." "Oh, my father-in-law's in the hospital. I have to go back to see him now." Some of them left quietly. "Fine, go," Lee said with a scorn. Alex found Minnie and wanted to leave. Anna was quite reasonable, but Minnie was angry. "Don't blame me." Alex had no other option but to pick up Minnie and carry her on his shoulder as they left the ship. "Let go of me, you bastard! What are you doing?" She beat him on the back with her hands. He ignored her as he carried her to the landing. "Hey, you on the stairs, stop!" Lee shouted at Alex with the microphone. Alex looked at Lee, but he didn't pay any attention to him. "If you go, I'll block that small streamer," Lee yelled. Alex stopped. "Let me go, you loser. Do you want me to get blocked? You can leave on your own. Why are you carrying me?" She thumped him even harder on his back. "Well, if you say so, but don't blame me if you get into danger." He put her down on the ground. She glared at him and said, "Just leave me here right now. Go away." Minnie pushed Alex, hoping that he would fall down the stairs. "Give me the letter and I'll leave right away." Alex was disappointed in her. Since she hated him so much, it would be better if he left. "Letter? You still want the letter?" she snorted. She patted her bag. "The letter's in my bag. I wanted to give it to you, but look at what you've done to me. I should tear it up. I won't give it to you. You're a rotten loser." "You bitch!" Alex grabbed her collar, and her eyes went cold. "What are you doing? Let go!" She pushed him aside, grabbed Hannah's hand, and ran to the deck. Alex knew that he wouldn't be able to get the letter from her now, so he got ready to leave the ship. As he was about to leave, the whistle blew, and the ship started to move. He was trapped on board. He slowly walked back to the deck. He wasn't really worried. He sat alone at the stern with the blowing sea breeze as he watched the waves. This cruise ship was the only one at sea. Lee called Minnie to come over to him. She was very nervous. "What's the matter?" He pulled her closer, and she leaned on his shoulder and felt surprised. She was a mere internet celebrity. How could she be around such wealthy people? "You're a good girl." Lee pinched her chin and said, "Do you want to date me?" Lee's abrupt question made her heart jump. He was quite frank. Does he really like me? She thought. "Well," she nodded shyly. "Good, I'm glad." He put his arm around her waist. "It's very easy to get rid of your boyfriend." "Lee, is what you're saying true? I'll tell him now." She was overjoyed. She would get rid of Alex if she could be Lee's girlfriend. How could she not be excited? Watching her reaction, Lee's eyes looked distant as he saw traces of Angelina in Minnie. Since Angelina had cheated on him, Lee's heart had become hardened. Hadn't Angelina looked for another man behind his back? Lee also wanted to take away other people's girlfriends and wives as revenge. He felt happy to see other men cry when they found out they were cheated on condition that you'll punish that guy. If I have a good time, you can be my girlfriend. Okay, baby? Lee gently pinched her chin.
Thank you for listening to Crown TV. Please don't forget to subscribe, share and turn on the notification button.